Hi Flosstube, welcome back to my channel, MBC Stitcher. I'm Matt and this is Augie, and today is April 3rd, Saturday, 2021, and this is going to be episode number 23. I know it's 23 because I had two 21s, which somebody pointed out to me, and which is just hilarious, because that's not the first time I've done that, where I've numbered the same thing twice and then realized it later and fixed it. So, you know, it's the next one. But anyway, we've got quite a bit of things to go over today. It's been 2 weeks since the last time we did a video, and oh, it's right there. And so yeah, let's see. Well, okay, let's go ahead and get started with some finishes. I've got three, well, I'm going to call it one finish because it's kind of how it's working. But this was actually one of my Whip Go goals for April, and I finished it before April actually started. And the pattern is Primavera by Satsuma Street, which is one of her 4-season, it's like a 9x9 of 9 motifs, sorry, 3x3 of 9 motifs, and looks like this. You can see that. Essentially, there's one for each of the 4 seasons. This is Primavera, this is Spring. I started this one and I intend to work on all 4 of them at some point. I have them, I don't know that I have everything for them, but I am not doing them all in one piece. Instead, I'm doing the motifs individually. And then I'm going to be finishing them on like this size little 5x5 canvases. And I'm doing them all on 16 count white Aida, just the stuff you can get at Michael's. But my goal was to get 3 of the motifs done, and I did that. I finished working on 2 that I had started, and then I did a complete 3rd one. I do have another piece of a 4th one, but I'm not planning on working on that right now, but we'll see how far I get. But this first one is this lovely tulip. And there's a mix of, there's a mix of some variegated threads and some regular DMC. It's all DMC variegated. And then there's these 2 little birds. I guess it's a peacock and another bird. I know my affinity for the peacock was pointed out to me by somebody. You know who you are. But I'm not going to shy away from that. So, and then I did this other flower, which really, I mean, the colors aren't right, but it really reminds me of the Mario, like the flower that you get that lets you throw fireballs. But I don't know, maybe that's just me. But yeah, so I am going to finish those, and then my idea is I'm not going to do all 9. I'm not planning to do all 9, just some of the ones that I like, and then from each of the 4 seasons, and then it will be something where I have like a group of them hung up on the wall, probably not here, but another part of this room, and then I'll change it out with the seasons. But this time I only have 3 from spring. And it is spring, so I'll probably hang them up, but I don't know that I will be getting, what is it, summer, I can't remember the word, verano? Yeah, I think so. I don't know that I will get that one done in time to switch it out for summer. But maybe that can be something. They're pretty quick, so maybe. We'll see how my other plans go, but it's definitely something, if I'm feeling the itch to get a quick little finish in, that's definitely something I can pick up. And I did pick up some more of the 16 count Ada from Michaels. That's just easy to do something like that on. But yeah, so that is my only finish, like an actual finish. And then I did reach a couple other goals. Well, I reached one other WhipGo goal, and so I will go to that one next. And this was one of my WhipGo goals for April. I did meet both of my April goals, which was actually the first time I've done that this time. And I'm still planning to go back and finish up the this is for March. I'm still planning to go back and finish up the January and February goals that I haven't met yet. But this is Deco Spirits by Mirabilia. And we've got, again, I'm doing these on separate pieces of fabric. And I started with Air, and so my goal was to get her half done. This is about the halfway mark, and so I've got pretty much everything stitched on that side of it, and then obviously more than halfway on this. This is, well, there is a little bit down here, the word Air, in a few stitches and some back stitching that I have not done yet, but I will do that the next time I work, or well, at some point when I work on this. But yeah, it's a full coverage piece. There's no beading, but there is plenty of metallics. I used the Petite Treasure braid. I converted the Krynic that's called for. It also calls, the gold is actually, the called for is DMC Light Effects. I did also switch that to Petite Treasure braid. And then I am using the black DMC Etoile instead of the regular 310. So there's a little bit of extra sparkle on mine. But yeah, and I really like this one. There's some more back stitching that will happen that really will pull out this bird and lady's face, and it'll be, or spirit's face. And so I really like that one. And it's on a 32 count white Lugano. So nothing crazy on that one. Okie dokie. Okay, so what else did I work on in the last couple of weeks? I decided to pull out one of my Heaven and Earth designs, and I worked on that. Let's see, where is my photos? Recents. Okay, this is called Intimate Encounter, and it's these dudes. I believe it's the god Pan on the ground, and then Herne, the Lord of the Hunt, from the Celtic pantheon or mythology. And so it's like a meeting between the two of them. The artist is Sandra Santera. I don't think that this chart is currently available from Heaven and Earth Designs. When I've looked on the website before, I haven't seen it most recently. We don't know if that's because she still hasn't finished reworking it because it has some of those DMC colors in it, or if it's just one that she no longer has the license to continue to sell it, or what. But I have it and I'm continuing to work on it. So I got just a little bit more done in this diagonal. I think I did about 400, 500 stitches, somewhere in there. I worked on it a couple days. But yeah, I really just felt like I wanted to get a little bit more on here. Now I am doing this on 28 count Easy Guide, which is a 10 by 10 square. I think it's easy, whichever one is the 10 by 10, that's what this is. And then I'm doing it 2/1 in as a half stitch or a 10th stitch. Somebody asked what's the difference between, I often see people ask about what's the difference between a tent stitch and a half stitch, or trying to figure out. For this kind of thing, I don't think there is a difference the way you do it, because I'm just stitching it, and it's there's so much confetti that it's not really that the way you're making the stitch is making a lot of sense. So like normally a tent stitch, instead of like if you make your stitch from one point to the other and then you go up on the back side, that is a back stitch. But a tent stitch would be you make your, you make your stitch and then go further length on the back side. The idea being that kind of that on the back will, if there's any, if the fabric is pulled apart so that you see through it or see to the back side, that backside stitch will kind of continue to show color, and so that you don't get like a blank spot or a white spot or something. You get more of the color. It makes it a little more fuller from like from back from it. But in the way that you stitch confetti in, or at least the way that I stitch confetti in my Heaven Earth designs, or these kinds of projects, I'm just making my stitch as I normally do. So maybe it's more of a back stitch than a tent stitch, but you know, that's what it is. Okay, now, speaking of prior WIPGO goals, the next one, the one from January, and then I'll have to continue to work on this for February, and some point in the future there will be more of them, is to continue on my pain-free crafts, mythical creatures, Sal, and this is M for Mermaid. I did a little bit more. I didn't do a whole lot. I just did a couple lengths of it, but it's continuing to come along. I'm getting that through, and then there will be, you know, there's a whole other part of this, and then there's backstitch, and I know that the M is there's a lot to it. It's something that a lot of people have I've heard that it's broken people. I don't think that I am broken, but it's taking longer, and I just need to work on it. I think because April, now I have what the Dark Queen is going to be this month, and then I've already finished one of my WIPGO goals. I think there will be definitely some opportunity to come back to this and work on it some more as I continue through the month. So let's turn to, and that's on a 32 count white Joblin, and with the called for DMC. Okay, so the next one that I'm going to show you, I don't have the picture because it's, the file I have is just, when I downloaded it, it's just the actual like full page thing, and it's not the cover sheet. I don't have that in my PDF viewer. So this is Winter Deer by Stitch Rovia, and it's available on Etsy. Emma Cogden is the designer over there in the UK, but the brand is Stitch Rovia. It's this lovely Nordic style piece, and I'm doing this 2/1 on 18 count Aida in, I don't think there was a colorway, but it's a gray. It kind of reminds me of Artemis from Be Stitch Me. It is a Be Stitch Me piece. It just didn't have an actual color name on it, but it's a beautiful gray with a called for DMC. I did have one slight alteration. This color is not the correct pink, but I like it, and I'm keeping it in there instead of pulling it out to do something different. And I worked on this last night, and I did this bush, and then the neck here of the deer, brought it down and did this part. So it's actually, I mean, it's a great, and also this part down here, start working more on the mountain in the background. So my goal is to get halfway done, which is a lot, but there's not a huge addition, it doesn't go that much further. So what I'm gonna call halfway, I think, will be if I get the mountain, this tree, and then part of the deer done. That's gonna be, I'm gonna shoot for the mountain and the tree, and then we're gonna see where we are and how much more will be half. And it's a really great piece. I do enjoy working on it, and it's it's full coverage, and it's a little tight in that it's 18 count and 2 strands. It did shrink a little, but it's not bad, and it still looks really good the way it is. So yeah, I really like it. This Fox needle minder is from Space Cat Crafting. I think she's currently away from her store, so I don't know that you can pick up more needle minders at the moment, but she is here on Flosstube. Caitlin, she has a Flosstube where she talks about her stuff, and so that you can go check her out there. And okay, so now let's get to pull this baby back out. So this was this is Forests of Sumatra, and I was using this. This was one of my WIPGO goals in February. I did get the 3 pages done that I was trying to, and then I've been putting in a length every week since then, just a little bit more. I did more here, so that's pretty much what I have worked on since then. And it is on 36 count toast linen from Be Stitch Me, and then in the called for silk, which is Sumatra from Gloriana. And it is, I'm doing 2 strands over 2 because I like the full look of it, and it's really, really beautiful. So I also used this for my Stitch Asia stitching last month, and I think I'll still, when I post it, I will be doing the same thing. It's not, just a month or whatever. So, which that's from Abby Bella Stitch, and this is a Asian-inspired piece. Tracy Horner from Ink Circles, who's the designer, used Sumatran textiles as the inspiration, and some of them are on the back of the piece, as with her forests or her dragons of Sumatra and squirrels of Sumatra as well. Okay, I only have one more piece to show you. So this is Blueberry by Singy Stitch. She's on Etsy. The artist designer is Rachel Moore. So I have been working on her. She hasn't been called as a WIPGO goal. She's on my WIPGO to finish her, and I've just been really I want to work on her. So I've done a lot on her dress. A lot more of this stuff up here. I pulled up the main color. I just kind of pick whichever one is lowest and then work my way up. But I've been kind of building up the other colors so that it's easy just to fill in and get some more work. I'm gonna move the Q-snap now that I've done my filming of this, because half the dress is done, more than half. So I'm gonna move up, and we've got, she's got a bodice and stuff up here, but it's not as much, certainly, as the bottom part of her dress. She is doing and then besides the woman, and she's carrying a basket, and then there is a scene behind her that you do in backstitch, I think it's, I don't know how many different thicknesses of backstitch you use, but I know that it's at least 1 strand and 2 strand, or maybe 3 strands. So you kind of get a depth to it because of the way you do the backstitch, but it looks pretty, the pattern is very detailed and looks very easy to follow. So I am don't feel intimidated to do that that way. So yeah, it's and this is on a 32 count Joblin in African Daisy. It's the name of the pattern. The colorway. It's from Witchelt. It's one of their, it's a hand dyed, but like sold by them. There's not as much variation on it, and then it's like the Summer Sky, or I don't know what the other names of those are, but there's several others that they have that are like that. So, well, I don't know. I think it's a shadow, buddy. Okay, so that's my stitching. Wow, he was here the whole time. That's kind of different. But I do have some haul. Some of my purchases from Needlework Expo have arrived, most of them. There's a one thing that I'm waiting that didn't get shipped with the rest of it. And then there's some more fabric coming, okay. Oh, I do want to say, I'm still in the process of figuring out what works best for me, but if you are thinking about figuring out a way to store your fabric, and need a better solution than what you're currently doing, go check out the Steel City Stitchers. Erin did a video a couple weeks ago now, maybe it was last week, where she shows how she's doing her fabric now, pinning it to comic book boards. I've got some of those comic book boards, but I've purchased some plastic alligator clips, which I've seen some other quilters or fabric sewers using regular sewing fabric, not cross-stitch fabric, that they use those on comic book boards to wrap it around and then keep it in a way. And so when I figure out what actually works best for me, I'll show you everything again, but go check her out. You can, it's a great way. It seems like an amazingly efficient system where you can have it stored, where you can see more of it than what I currently have in the boxes that I have. I think my boxes work well, but I kind of need some more space, so we're gonna be trying this and seeing if that works, because I already have some bigger containers that I'm not using them for what I was using them, so I'm not having to buy everything to change to this new system, but I'm going to see how it works and go from there. Okay, so let's see. First thing I purchased, or one of the things that, it's not the first thing that came in, but it's actually the most recent thing that came in. I purchased the feathers from Rosewood Manor, which is the giant peacock pattern. Yes, Noah. And this, I just really liked it, and I really wanted to do it. And it is done it's charted in sulky petites. And I purchased the packet that comes with it, or the thread pack. It doesn't come with it, you have to buy it separately. But I bought both of these from Fire Poppies. I actually ordered this, and then when it was getting ready to be shipped, Susan contacted me and said, hey, we purchased the thread packs. Do you want to order that? Because it's not charted in anything but the thread pack, and we bought extras in case people wanted them. And I was like, yes, thank you for... I was about to order it from them or figure out some other way. I didn't see it on the website, so... Yes, definitely. And then paid the invoice, she put it in the package, it arrived, and it's all great. So I really enjoyed that. I still haven't used the sulkies that I bought for the Moo the Merrier that I showed last time, but it's, I mean, it's not like I didn't buy the whole line or anything like that before I'm trying it. And then the other pattern that I bought from Fire Poppies from Expo is from RETM, and it's the Quaker Turtle. It's a nice Quaker piece in the turtle. I'm not sure how I'm gonna stitch this. I definitely want to use some kind of variegated floss and then on a nice coordinating fabric, but I don't have a firm idea yet. It's not on my immediate plans, and yeah. Okay, I'm not sure if I showed this last time. I don't think I did, but in case I did, this is the fabric of the month from, I think I did, but this was from last month, from March, from Fortnite Fabrics, and this is Phil and Lil, which is a wonderful green and yellow, or yellow-green, but a beautiful color. I really like it. And this is on 32 count Lugana. And yeah, that is amazing. Maybe I didn't, I don't know. Anyway, and then also green, my fabric of the month, I guess because it was March and St. Patrick's Day. But my fabric of the month from Bestitch Me came in as well, and this is Avocado. You can see that. It's a nice light green. I believe this is the Color Club selection, because she does, you can do a neutral, you can do the color, or you can do, she'll switch off for you, give you one, and go back and forth. Or what I did, can you give me both? I mean, I buy both, but, and then the neutral from this month is Through the Stones, which is one she's done before. I didn't have it, so it's a nice neutral gray, and this is also 32 count Jobelin, and yeah, it's pretty great. I did see that the spring Equinox boxes have been shipping. I think mine shipped this week, so that will be coming, and I'm excited about that. Okay, now I'm in virtual Stitchers, and I often will get on Friday nights, sometimes some other times, but that's my main time that I kind of with the Friday night crew. It is not uncommon for during that there to be some, oh, what's that? Oh, who's having a sale? Oh, there's some enabling that happens often. And a few weeks ago, one of the Stitchers, Woo, he was stitching on, or he was showing some of his kits that he bought from mybobbin.com. And they were having a sale on some of the kits. It's one of the Russian brands, Pana. And I was looking through and I found some that I liked, so I went ahead and got some. So this is, and they're full kits. They come with Ada for the most part, and then floss and everything. So this is Gemini, which I liked because it was, I mean, a lot of the Gemini patterns that I see are either like just, there's mostly two ladies. I mean, most people that cross stitch are ladies, so it's understandable. But I liked this one that had two dudes, so I went ahead and got that one. And then, oh, I don't remember what it was called, and it's in Russian, so I don't have the name. But it's I think it's a foo dog. Oh, that's horrible glare. I think that's maybe as good as we can get there. Okay, so it's a nice, and then this was a Egyptian Falcon. I don't remember the name of it, and like I said, it's in Russian, but it's dark, so it's gonna be hard to see. Nope. That's just really hard to see. I don't know if you can see that. So it's a falcon in the foreground with the Egyptian pyramids behind it, and then there's like an Egyptian eagle symbol, you know, the wings behind it. You'll probably be able to see this one. This is a Corgi, as you can see. I wonder why that one you know, was so appealing to me. But so those were Pana, and they were all on sale. And then there was another one. I've seen this done by some other people, and I thought it always looked really cool. So I added this one on as well. This is not Pana. It's from... It's called Deerland, but I can't remember the name of the brand. Or Andriana? Anyway, and it's basically a deer with the antlers, and then there's some houses and everything. It's gorgeous. It's huge. It's really pretty. And yeah, there's a couple different versions, like this similar theme. There's like a winter one, and some other. Pana has one that was a winter one, but it was sold out by the time I got to shopping. Because sometimes when we're shopping, everybody's shopping, and then things, if there's limited quantities, you may not get it. But I've liked this one, and I thought that would be fun to do maybe someday. So I did that. And those come from Russia. It takes a while to get here, but it was actually pretty, I think it was like, I got to the threshold where it was free shipping, and yeah. So, okay, that's it for the stitching and the haul. Wow, it's only 31 minutes. Okay, well, I do have some books to talk about, so, yay. First of all, okay, what have I been listening to? Let's see. Well, where did I leave off? Okay. So first one, this is one I read recently. I finished it up this week. It's a little different than my normal, than the things that I have been listening to, but it also fits in. I do like to listen to some memoirs and books, comedians or, you know, celebrities or whatever, some of their memoirs or political people, especially when they're the one reading it. It's really nice. I did get the Barack Obama one. I haven't read it yet, but it's in my queue. But this is called You'll Never Believe What Happened to Lacey, and it's by Amber Ruffin and Lacey Lamar. They're sisters. Amber Ruffin is a comedian. She has the Amber Ruffin Show on Peacock, which I think is a weekly series, and then she, at least during the time they were recording and she wrote this, she was also a writer on Seth Meyers. I don't know if she's still there or if she's just doing her show or how that's working. But she and Lacey Lamar is her sister. And Amber is from Omaha, Nebraska, and Lacey and most of Amber's family still lives there. And the concept of the book is the kind of ridiculous and crazy racist things that happen to Lacey or get said to Lacey, that it's a little, like, a lot of it is funny, but it's also, like, ridiculous and in multiple ways. One, like, it's crazy, but it's also, like, really gut-wrenching and hard to believe that one person goes through all of this, and they're, I think, I don't know how old Lacey is, but I don't think she's in maybe early 40s, because I think she's 4 years older than Amber, but I don't know that Amber is that much older than me. So she's not that old, and this is all the stuff that she's already gone through. Now, there are some stories also from their other sister or Lacey, Amber, but it's just, it's one of those where it's like you have multiple feelings about it because it's good and it's enjoyable, but it's also like not enjoyable. Like it makes you feel things. So, but it's really good. I really recommend it, and it's a great book. I mean, I don't, even as a gay man, I don't have near the amount of discrimination placed against me that anybody with a different skin color would, or even somebody that would be more flamboyant than I am, or just like, not that, I mean, you know, it just makes you realize, oh my gosh, these people have to go through this, or people in the world go through this and they shouldn't have to. Just the way that it impacts everybody is so crazy. But it's useful because it also like illustrates that in I guess like an approachable way of things are like, this is, you can't do that. And not just a like yelling at you or even just like sternly talking to you. Because of the comedic approach, I think this may resonate with people in a different way, but I think it's useful. So that's what why I really enjoyed it, why I definitely wanted to talk about it with everybody. But yeah. Okay, I also finished the so it is, I didn't realize it at first until I actually looked at the book, but it's the where's my, oh, there it is. The Magic Bite series, the sequel that I talked about last time, there's actually another spin-off. It's not really a sequel. It came out after, but it takes place during the main sequence, main books, the first series sequence of events. It's towards the end, but it's about one of the characters, one of the villains, I guess. Well, an antagonist, certainly. But it's called Iron and Magic.
This is...
Sorry. By Ilona Andrews. And it is the Iron Covenant. I guess that's the start of a series, but this is the first one in it. But it's a year, I think it came out in 2019, or maybe 2020. But it is, like I said, it takes place during the Magic Bite series towards the end of it. Hugh D'Ambre, who is an antagonist in the series, loses favor with the bad guy, and is kind of kicked out of the club. And this is the story of what happens to him afterwards. He does show back up, and you kind of get hints of this happening through the rest of the series, but it's not. This kind of gives you that story of what he went to Kentucky and things happened, and so this is the start of that, at least. And he, let's see, how do I want to? So basically, Hugh is a healer. He's a magician, but most of his magic is healing magic, and he can heal. He is probably one of the best healers in the world, his ability to heal people. He's also been conditioned since a child to become a general, an overlord, or a warlord, and is very, he has a cruel streak to him, certainly, but he's definitely been conditioned to be fierce, and he's got a lot going on. And then he goes to Kentucky. So he's the head of an army, gets kicked out, and then the army is not, the people that he left behind are getting, his soldiers are getting killed off by a rival. And so they want to find somewhere safe, and so they get him, and he ends up going to Kentucky, where there is a town in a castle that was, it's like from Europe that was moved over here at some point before the apocalypse happens, the magic shift. And they do, so he and the leader of this castle, they form a marriage, he and her, and then so it's kind of like his army's protecting, she's providing them a place to stay, and that kind of stuff. And it kind of goes from there. It is very, it's very good. So like, there were a couple of annoying things to me. Not necessarily, and I didn't look up, so the way the narrator says the name, Hugh's name, the Hugh part is the same, but Diombre is different than the narrator for the main series, so it was very kind of odd. The narrator also does some weird things with some of the other characters that show up from the main series. For instance, there is Andrea Murano, and he gives her an Italian accent, and she's not Italian. She is married to Murano. Her maiden name is Nash, and that is like clear from the books that, because she gets married in there, but it was just like, wait, what? Why is this character now have an Italian accent? She's not. She's American, and not even Italian American. That's her married name. So it was really odd. Some of the things, just little things that that I noticed because having read the other series, and it's just a difference that I see between them. It's not a bad thing. It was just kind of like, oh, what? Maybe you want to check that before you start doing that. But yeah, anyway. So I read that one. Another spin-off book series that I read was Wild Sign, which is by Patricia Briggs. It's part of her Alpha and Omega series. It's the most recent one that came out. So Patricia Briggs has two main series that she writes in the urban fantasy. The Mercedes Thompson series, and then there's a spin-off called Alpha and Omega. So the Alpha Omega series is about Charles and Anna. They're both werewolves, but Anna is an Omega werewolf, and she, in this world, that gives her the ability to calm other werewolves and the Omegas are seen as very, she has the innate ability to calm down other werewolves. She also, every werewolf is typically tries to respect Omegas and work with them, rather than, or protect them. Anyway. So, and Charles is her mate and wife, and so they've been getting into some different things over these books. This is the fifth one, and it comes out that there is something going on with a colony of white witches have disappeared, and the place where they were living is land that's owned by the werewolf pack, and there's a history to it. One of the Charles's stepmother, she came from there, it's her land. It was bought by her husband, Charles's father, for her, but he found her there, and that's where she became a werewolf. And there's a whole thing back in the 1800s about it, and they're trying to figure out what's going on, what's happened. There's some kind of mythical creature, god thing that's doing stuff. These witches are missing, and what's happening? The government wants to get involved. The government is trying to get on the good side of the werewolves because they have already messed up their chances with the Fae. And then the vampires are not out to the world that they exist. The government knows that they exist, but the government is also like, they would not be trustworthy. And they also don't trust the witches, who are not really organized the same way the other groups are. And so it's kind of a political whole thing, but it's also like a mystery. They're trying to figure stuff out. I really enjoy these books. The Alpha Omega is a little bit more romance themed than the main books, but actually, and there certainly is some, but I don't know that it was really that much this time. It didn't really stick out. I could have also just not really remembered it because I've read a couple other things since then, and the romance level, the romance involved is hetero romance, which I'm not really here for, so maybe it just didn't stick out in my head. But anyway, and then the other book that I read, or another book that I read, because I think this may be the last one, is the Shadow and Bone book by Leigh Bardugo. This is the start of the Shadow and Bone trilogy. There's a book or a series coming out on Netflix, and Julie, Kansas City Girl in Colorado World, she was talking about it in a couple Flosstubes ago. She reread the series, and so I picked that one up. I enjoyed it. It's an interesting series, interesting book. I will definitely be reading the others in the series at some point. I just haven't decided when. It's okay. What's her name? I forget these people's names. So Shadow and Bone it's a fantasy series, and the mythos that they're adapting is from Russian folklore and Russian history. Not really Russia, but kind of Russian culture in the past. But Alina Sarkov is one of the main characters. Who's the main character? She's an orphan, and she's raised, and then she goes into the military, and she's a cartographer in the map corps. Their country, Ravka, is it's not the it's one of the main countries in their part of the world, but it has a big hindrance to them. Splitting down the middle of the country, or between the coast and the main part of the country, is this thing called the Shadow Fold, which is this big shadow place that nothing grows there, nothing lives there except monsters, and so the country is kind of cut off from trade and from other parts of the world by this thing, and they have to send convoys through and kind of still will lose people, but they, anyway, they have magic users. Their country generally uses magic users. Other countries kill them or get rid of them, but the magic users, they're called Grisha, and each one can do something slightly they fall into categories, but there is one of the main ones is the most powerful one is the Darkling, and he has shadow magic, and then she gets involved in everything and turns out to have abilities that they didn't know, and maybe she can have an impact on this shadow fold or something else. So it's a very interesting book. And she also has there's a guy that she grew up with, and that's her love interest, and their, how they get back together and that kind of stuff. But it's a really interesting book. It's a easy read. I enjoyed it. I've also heard that there's another duology that's set in the same world is also really good, from what some people have told me. So I may read that one as well. And then actually, I think that's it. I'm in the middle of the 6th Soulbound book, which just came out a couple days ago. Not in the middle, I'm just a little bit into it, but I was reading a couple other things. I'd started a couple stuff, but then I saw that was out and I was like, ooh, that's what I want to read. So that's what I'm doing now. And yeah, so that's pretty much everything. And I keep forgetting to do this at the front. But I want to say thank you to everybody that watches, subscribes, comments, likes, all that stuff. I do keep I do make sure and heart the comments as I read them so people know that I see them. Feel free to reach out and talk to me on Instagram. Send me a message if you have any questions or anything, or need some information about any of the stuff. I don't do full detailed notes anymore because it takes a little bit longer, and I'd rather do this more than like, oh, I gotta do that. And so I just wanted to, it's just easier to do that. But if you have a question about anything, I will get you an answer. Send me a message or comment down below. And yeah, so I hope you all have a great one. Keep stitching and enjoy this lovely spring as it's happening. And I don't know when this will be out. Probably, I don't know if I'll get it out tomorrow. But if it's already been Easter, then I hope you had a good one. And if it is Easter, have a good Easter. So, all right, bye.